Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the penultimate race weekend of this second season. I say that, but there are actually 3 races to go because we have a sprint here in Qatar before the full Grand Prix. 19 laps pre the 57 of the main event. The World Championship should be won by Max Verstappen over the course of this race weekend. The gap is currently 54 points between himself and Fernando. So unless Max DNFs in both races today and Fernando gets a win and either a second or third in the other race, basically a win in the main Grand Prix and a podium in the sprint, then Max will win the championship today. Red Bull have been iffy of late. Sergio Perez has been all over the place of late. 13th DNF, 10th, 8th, 7th. Max has been 3rd, 1st, 6th and 5th. Not a couple of strong weekends for Max Verstappen in the recent couple, but Qatar should suit the aerodynamic qualities of the Red Bull. It will not suit the aerodynamic qualities or lack thereof of our Ferrari. But after our unbelievable victory in Las Vegas, you need to watch that video. End of. You just have to. If you enjoy any of my Formula 1 content, watch that video. It's worth it. Right, I'm going to jump in. We're 6 points behind Sergio Perez. Catchable, very much so. We're 26 points behind George Russell. Catchable based on Russell's recent results, which have been a 12th, 5th, DNF and 10th. But it's going to be he's had a really poor and unfortunate end to the season, hasn't he, George? A DNF in both Azerbaijan and Singapore, a 12th placed in Monza and Qatar either side, then a P5 in Mexico, another DNF in Portugal, and a P10 in Vegas. George has not had a great time of things of late. Carlos Sainz, however, he's loving life right now. 2nd, 5th, 1st, 2nd, 2nd. Then that DNF, which we were very happy about. We'll try our best to get as strong a result as possible and finish as high up as possible. The car is fully prepared and protected for next season. So now any resource points we get will be spent on the car itself in improving it rather than just protecting it, which we hope to be able to do by the time we get to Season 3. I am 95% sure we're going to stay at Ferrari, which is not something I would have said 10 races into this second season. Let's head to practice, get some more resource points, and then in terms of competitiveness here, really apprehensive, but we'll do what we can. It's a fun circuit to drive at the very least, even if we're going around in 9th and nowhere near anyone else. Drop the video a like, subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss out on any more. Do come and join me on stream as well so you can see all of the content, every single lap of every single session that we do behind the scenes. But for now, I'm going to go and concentrate on practice. Practice done. Actually, a really promising practice session, although unfortunately the specialist that boosts my resource point gain isn't there that weekend. We very nearly maxed it, actually. We maxed all of the resource point segments, which is not something I'm usually able to do in a sprint weekend practice session. So I don't know whether that bodes well or not, really, for the Grand Prix weekend as a whole for competitiveness. Good luck for the upcoming session. Oh, thanks. That's ominous. She never says good luck for the upcoming session. That's weird. Now I feel odd pressure. So we'll put fresher parts in the car, obviously, to ensure the car is as fast as it possibly can be for this race weekend. And fingers crossed we can qualify well in both sprint qualifying and full race qualifying, and finish well in the full race and the sprint race. So join me in SQ1, and hopefully we will make SQ3. Yeah, that makes sense, Tom. I appreciate the committed long-term support, mate. Purple sector 1, apparently. Terrible.
to P20.
Well, after a purple sector 1, but now it isn't actually reading as purple anymore, that might be P1. It is. Don't get carried away, it's sprint qualifying first session, but fastest by 2.5 tenths.
And that's just 30 seconds left in the session.
Purple sector 1 again. See, it says purple on the left-hand side, or on the mini-map, but it doesn't show as purple on the delta top right.
Right, that's us pushed down into P15.
That might be P1 again. It really genuinely might. Oh my god! Well, on the medium tyre, we're strong then, it seems, unless those other front runners aren't necessarily pushing the boat out that much. Oh, whew. They stepped up though. We had 2.5 tenths in the pocket in the first session in SQ in sprint qualifying, and now that 2.5 tenths from first to second covers first to 8th. 2 milliseconds over Piastri, 300ths over Lando Norris. The McLarens are quick here. We anticipated that they would be. I've got 1.5 tenths on Charles there. Now we strap on the soft tyres, and I'm expecting actually to not be top at all once we get onto the softs. Checo and George both out of sprint qualifying in SQ2. That's good for our Drivers' Championship. Little snap there. And there. It's not a great lap so far. Decent middle sector though. Or it felt like a decent middle sector anyway. I thought I'll just try and take it flat, and it worked. Now, intriguingly, Lewis Hamilton, whose first lap put him 9th, didn't go again, so Lewis will definitely start the sprint race 10th. We will start the sprint race 7th or 8th, I think they're 5th. Okay. We thought they'd step it up when we got to the crunch time in qualifying, and they did. I did have a poor first sector, has to be said. I'd like to see the comparison between my first sector and theirs. 20.692 was 14 milliseconds faster than my teammate. If I check the race director, Lando's first sector was a 29.8, and my first sector was a 29.9. So it felt like a slow first sector, but it was only a tenth off Lando in the end. 26.9, 23.8, 26.9, 23.8, 26.8, 23.8. So there's not much in it at all, really. The gap 1.5 tenths. So if I'd have put in a better first sector, we could just certainly been in the running for pole. As it happens, we will start 5th. Annoyingly, Lance Stroll is there in 2nd, but we took a jump on him with the last round of the championship. So crucially, Piastri, Russell, Perez all behind me, Lewis Hamilton as well, and we should hopefully be able to get ourselves that P7 in the championship. Maybe even slightly high if we can catch George Russell. But that was a strong qualifying. Now we need a strong race. There won't be any penalties in the sprint whatsoever, so we will be starting 5th. And tyre wear is about bang on, so we will be expected to run the exact same strategy as everybody AI-wise, every other driver this particular round of the championship. Fuel-wise, it is a bit of a drinker here in Qatar, and with a long straight where you'll use a lot of battery and a lot of DRS, I'm going to stick with the 2.5 laps worth of extra fuel here, because I very much think we might need it. 36, reckoned I needed 105, was it, kilograms of fuel for the full Grand Prix, judging by the race strategy, so that's probably overkill, but well, I don't want to take the risk. It's not worth taking the risk. Well, tyres are not very warm at all, but it won't take long for them to warm up around this Qatari track in the sun. Shine. Sunshine is one word, Ches, not two. I had a terrible getaway for the formation lap, but hopefully for this actual one that means something, we'll have a better getaway. Not a wheel spin there. Not a bad launch. Jesus, Charles, do you mind? He's off, he's gone. Charles Leclerc is well away. Try and hang it out around the outside. And then we'll have the inside line for the next one. So drop from 6th to 7th. Sorry, 5th to 6th. Now 7th, as Lewis Hamilton gets me. He's had a great start. Didn't he start 10th? I'm expecting to be not as competitive in race trim as we were in quali. Try and sneak up the inside of Lewis here again. Fernando's a little bit wide as well, but he's going to get on the power early enough to keep me behind him. Alright, not a bad first lap. Superb for Charles. Charles gone from 6th to 4th. We've slipped back to position, as has Fernando Alonso, but we've been able to get Lewis back after dropping back 2 positions. Now we just have to hope that we can stay there or thereabouts. Only down to P8 for points in a sprint race, of course. So we're going to need to make sure we have a strong finish if we want anything for the World Championship. But I'm more confident after qualifying in the opening lap here than I was pre-race. Or pre-race weekend, anyway. Although I'm definitely running more rear downforce than most. So we are going to be slow in a straight line. I'm going to have to use a lot of battery down the straight, that's for sure. We can't let Carlos Sainz get away in front this time around, although it looks like he's going to try and do so. Stroll and Norris battling hard. We're still very competitive here, though, after 1 lap. So it'll be a case of making as few mistakes as we possibly can. We can have a good finish here. Got a run on Alonso. Around the outside of Fernando. Try and get it stopped. Oh, have the inside line for this next one. That's P5 as the back end steps on me. Ooh-wee, that was close. A little bit scary, but we got away with it. Only the 1 DRS section on this circuit, so if you are on the cusp at the end of the straight, or at the end of the first sector, then you really need to hang on for the whole of the lap.
Look out for a bit of understeer when trailing.
But at the minute, we're not facing any issues staying within DRS range of those in front. This Ferrari, on this particular day, on this particular circuit, is very good. Fastest lap of the race from me. Closing in on Charles, he's not going to go defensive. Do I try? Yep, I'm gonna. Norris has a mechanical problem as well, so just as we take Charles, now we should be able to get past Lando quite quickly, hopefully, because he's going to be slow. We cannot afford to lose time on Lance and Carlos Sainz. I'm just getting bullish. No contact made, clean move. Charles through as well. Lando Norris's race is effectively over here. He might as well come in and retire. We are on for a sprint victory here if we can keep this up. Who knew that in the last few races of the season, this Ferrari was going to come alive? After the way that Mexico ended, nobody thought this was going to happen, did they? Fernando Alonso's falling back. Lance Stroll is very fast here this weekend. Oh, Stroll's gone defensive. Sainz has gone even more aggressive with 3 wide into turn 1 and will swoop round them both and into first place. Ladies and gentlemen, we lead the sprint race. It's just Lando retiring, I think. Or is it, no, everyone's just getting past the particularly slow Lando Norris. Or is he might actually be retiring. I think he's retiring. Oh, Lando, that's not gone well, has it? His car had a mechanical problem which made him slow, and now... well, he's still going at the minute. Is he pulling off? He's pulling off. Sorry, Lando, your race is over, sir. You'll start with presumably a penalty in the main race after taking one before qualifying in some new parts. Now, down the straight, we don't have the pace, as you can see. So, if we're to hold on to this lead and keep it longer term, we're going to have to be very, very, very quick. It is not as straightforward as take the lead, keep the lead here. The front 4 are all separated by about a second. It's a 4-way fight for the win in the sprint, and we've still got a full Grand Prix to come after this. Lots of action, we hope, that ends with a double Ferrari Chesnoid victory. That's the plan. Right, now we should hopefully take the lead back again. Oh yes, yes we will, relatively comfortably. I'll use a bit more battery. Now in qualifying, sector 1 was my strongest part of the lap. So if we are to extend the lead far enough to be able to hold it down the DRS straight for the next lap, I am going to have a very strong lap prior to... whoa! That was not as strong as it needed to be. That was strong oversteer, not a strong first sector. Jesus wept. There goes your heart rate. We're all right. We're still in the lead, but it's still going to be... it's basically going to be follow the leader. You take me, I take you. You take me, I take you. To me, to you. Down the DRS straight every lap. We just need to time it well enough so that when it matters, we're the one in front. Another yellow flag at the back. That's the Sauber going slowly and about to retire. I'm about to go down to second, maybe even third here as Lance Stroll will try and take the lead, which he won't do because Sainz will have the inside line. Guan Yu is now out, and this 4-way fight for the lead is getting quite intense. Charles just a voyeur at the moment, watching it all unfold in front of him, but myself, Carlos Sainz and Lance Stroll going hammer and tongs for this victory. It's going to be every single lap, I think. That was no information on Piastri. Well, it seems then... oh, Piastri's going slow as well. So not only is Lando Norris retired, they just said some information on Piastri. Oh, he's got a puncture! Front right puncture! Saw it happen there live on board as he's taking the really, really fast left-hander here. Watch that front right tyre. It just explodes under load, and Piastri is going to have to box for a new front right. Well, McLaren are having a torrid time here right now. That wasn't even on a curb. It just exploded. Come on, go defensive, Carlos. Good lad, thank you. I'll go around the outside here then and take second place back. Lance Stroll able to dip away and hold first on this occasion. He managed to open up enough of a gap that we weren't a threat to him down the straight. That's dangerous. We can't afford to let anyone get away because everyone else is going to be battling continually so hard that, just like in Las Vegas, if someone is able to break DRS, that's going to be them gone and safe. So we're going to have to make sure we keep Lance Stroll in range here. Otherwise, he is a clear favourite for this sprint race. On lap 11 of 19, it's been a ridiculously entertaining sprint race so far. And there's still 8.5 laps to go, sorry. Purposefully staying behind at the moment. We will look to make the overtake for the lead on lap 19 on the last lap, because the run to the line off the last corner is very short. I'll make sure we're still with Lance Stroll and close enough to actually do it though, so as our left-hand tyres, both front and rear, are particularly worn now. It's becoming more and more difficult to keep the car placed where we want it at any given moment. But everyone else is going to be suffering similar tyre wear, so we're all in the same boat. Still the front four separated by about 2 seconds, and a big gap of 2 seconds again back to Alonso in fifth, where he's got a whole train with him as well. This is it, 7/10 the gap. Now we've got to take the lead. It's now or never.
Okay, mate.
All the battery, all the DRS. We're not going to be quick enough, or are we? Right at the death. Lance has gone aggressive defensively. I've gone even more aggressive offensively. And we will dive through and take the spot. Now we've just got to hold this for the remainder of the lap. And that's 8 World Championship points in the bag for a sprint race victory. Last few laps have just been spent sticking behind Lance Stroll, waiting for that opportunity at that exact moment. Turn 1, final lap. Because the run to the line off the last corner, as you can see from the minimap, is not that long. And only 100 metres or so of DRS active before the line. So long as we get a decent end to the lap, we will get the victory here in the sprint race on lap 19 of 19. It'll be 8 World Championship points for us. Alonso is currently in fifth, meaning he will close the gap on Max Verstappen in the World Championship by 3 points, I think. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3... 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we'll close the gap by 3 points on Max, meaning that the gap will be 51 points heading into 2 Grand Prix, where there is a maximum of 52 points available. So if it ends exactly as it does now, which I believe it will do, Fernando Alonso will need to win this Qatari Grand Prix and the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, get fastest lap in both races, and hope that Max Verstappen DNFs in both for Fernando to win the World Championship. I don't think that's going to happen. But I also think that Max Verstappen is not going to win the World Championship in Season 3, because that Red Bull is not the one. Unless there's a big shake-up between Seasons 2 and Seasons 3, which there could well be. And then the shake-up has happened throughout this season as well, of course, with Red Bull starting as the stronger car and not ending the season as the stronger car at all. So there's absolutely the possibility that Max Verstappen doesn't... Hello, Lance. There's absolutely the possibility that Max Verstappen doesn't win the World Championship next year. This is where we're glad that the run to the line is short, because we have won the sprint race. We won Las Vegas, we win the sprint in Qatar, now we're going for 3 from 3. If we can qualify well for the main Grand Prix, we stand a chance of winning that as well. It's 51 points, the gap between Fernando Alonso and Max Verstappen. 51 point gap, 52 points available in the World Championship. Sorry, Nando. Max is going to be winning a World Championship again, and for probably the 4th time in your career, you're going to finish 2nd in the World Championship. Sorry, mate. We are 5 points behind Aston Martin in the Constructors as well. So, provided myself and Charles can finish well in the full Grand Prix and then do well again in Abu Dhabi, 2nd in the Constructors is the target and aim. We are now above Sergio Perez in the World Drivers' Championship as well, so we're P7 there. Genuinely targeting George Russell in 6th. So there's still lots to play for in the drivers and constructors as we head into the final 2 rounds of the full Grand Prix worth of the World Championship. Q1 on softs. P1. We're really competitive at Qatar. From the way that I spoke in the intro, you know that I wasn't expecting this. But I'm thrilled that we are. This is really kind of cementing our decision that, yes, we will stay at Ferrari for Season 3 to win Las Vegas, to win the sprint in Qatar, and then hopefully be challenging for a victory in the main race in Qatar as well. This is absolutely going to be the way that hopefully we make the decision.
Right, that's us pushed down into P15.
This one is going to be closer, I think, to get through to Q3, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to do it. Oh, and we do comfortably. That was a 20.6. That might even be P1 again. It's P2. There was a couple of mistakes in there in that lap. After qualifying 5th in the third sprint qualifying session, and there was only, what, 3 milliseconds between me and Oscar Piastri in the second sprint qualifying session. Oscar gets the better of me on this occasion. Sergio Perez and George Russell, again, don't make it through. It's terrible for them. Where's Fernando? Fernando is 3rd. Max Verstappen 8th, but obviously there's one more session to go. Fernando needs to win and get the fastest lap in both remaining Grand Prix, and for Max Verstappen to not score any points. 19.8 from Fernando Alonso. Wow. I think, I dare say, that's probably uncatchable. A 19.8? Where has he pulled that out of the bag from? That's lightning fast from Fernando Alonso. We're not even going to get anywhere near that. Might get a 20.5 or a 20.5. Where has Fernando found a 19.8 from? We qualified in the sprint, 5th. We qualified in the main Grand Prix, 5th. That was a disgusting lap from Fernando Alonso. 2.4 tenths faster than Charles Leclerc. Max Verstappen is 8th, however, which will give Fernando that extra little bit of a confidence boost. Fernando starting on pole. He needs to win on fastest lap. Max Verstappen only 2 places within the points. As it stands, as we head into the Grand Prix, I mean, it's not unthinkable that it could go down to the final round of the championship. I can't recall off the top of my head where Lando qualified. We might be starting slightly further up if Lando's had to take a penalty from his retirement in the Sprint Grand Prix. So we might be starting P4. No, Norris keeps his P3. He does not need to replace a part, or at least doesn't need to replace a part that is outside of the allocation in between sessions. So Lando starts P3. Verstappen will start P8. We've got real confidence now that we can finish P6 in the drivers. Nobody taking a penalty, it seems. Oh no, Nico Hulkenberg's the only one to take a penalty here. I think it's going to be a medium hard or a hard medium one stop here, and it does look like that's going to be the case. There's not much difference between that. Well, actually, to be fair, 8 seconds or so, 9 seconds even, between a one stop and a two stop. Certainly not going to be two stopping. I could maybe think about going hard medium, but quite frankly, what I think I'll do is stick with this, but box on lap 25 or 6 and try and undercut slightly to give us a bit of an advantage. It's probably going to be as close as it was in the sprint for 57 laps rather than just the 19. But that will be entertaining, won't it? It's recommending 5.2 laps worth of extra fuel. I'll put 103 kilos in, so 4.6 laps of extra fuel. That should very much get us to the end of this race. Well, P5 to victory in the sprint. P5 to question mark for the full Grand Prix. One thing that does concern me about this first stint is that those medium tyres in the sprint race were not happy by the end of the 19 laps of the sprint itself. And we need to do 27 here, probably 25, to do this one stop. So if we have the opportunity to, I might like, or a lot of wheel spin, I might like to try and do the two stop with a soft stint right at the end, if there's the gap to do so. We have both Haas cars starting right behind us, but there was a lot of space on the outside of one there to try and take back those that had overtaken me. We will hold ourselves in P6 for now, although Carlos Sainz is getting very intrigued. Kevin Magnussen's had an electric start. He's up to 4th, doing what Charles did in the sprint race. Charles started 2nd, is still 2nd. Fernando Alonso started 1st, he's still 1st. And Max Verstappen is still 8th. So at the minute, basically all Max needs to do is score a point. and he's world champion. Comfortable enough start, similar enough start to the sprint race. We just need to make sure that we keep Fernando in check in this Grand Prix, and hopefully there's the chance of a win for us again. Purple first sector is still tucked up right behind those in front. Fernando Alonso is trying to do that disappear down the road in P1 thing that Carlos Sainz did in the last Grand Prix in Las Vegas. Nobody was really able to do it in the sprint, but Fernando's got a bit of a march on Charles Leclerc already. Charles just has to hope that he's just within DRS range of Fernando Alonso, otherwise Alonso's gone, and I think he might already be well outside of a second. Fernando's braking, he's really on it here. Seeing pace from Fernando Alonso in this in this full Grand Prix that we didn't see in the sprint, and we saw it in the full Grand Prix qualifying as well. Fernando Alonso means business. He knows there's a World Championship on the line, and he is going for it. Charles definitely doesn't have DRS there because Lando made the overtake very, very comfortably. Now, can Lando keep Fernando in check, or is that Aston Martin just going to keep galloping away in front? If he does, we won't catch him. It will be like Sainz in Vegas for us, and we'd be praying for another either safety car or DNF scenario, which I don't think will get lucky enough to happen twice. But Lando is, I think, closing the gap back up to Fernando here, so he might not get away quite as well as he hoped he might have been doing when it was the Ferrari of my teammate Charles Leclerc chasing him, because Lando's pulling away from Charles now. Got a run. Lance is not going defensive though, annoyingly. He thought about it, had a little wiggle, and then decided against it. Got a comfortable gap behind of 7/10 to Carlos Sainz. Verstappen only 3/10 behind him, so hopefully they have a bit of a battle. It would be really entertaining to see the World Championship go down to the final day, but I just think Max has got too much in the locker. He'll get the result he needs here in Qatar and win his 5th straight World Championship. Oh, Fernando spun! Fernando spun!
Okay, clear.
I think I just overtook Lance Stroll through the yellow flags, but I apparently have gotten away with it. Same way that Max Verstappen did in a previous Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso, that's the World Championship decided. I can't believe it. Fernando Alonso, with the World Championship on the line, was absolutely flying, and he's binned it, and he's now just sat there waiting for everyone to go past before he then gets going again. That is Max Verstappen winning the World Championship this season. And it's all because Fernando Alonso's absolutely bottled it. Might be 3 wide into turn 1, certainly 2 wide as Charles Leclerc goes for the lead on Lando Norris. McLaren has the inside line and the pace and holds on. But now this is basically the sprint race all over again. Only this time, at present, it's down to the 2 Mercedes, it's a 10-way train for P1 at the moment. So this is going to be a race with a lot of action, with any number of drivers potentially in for a shout of a victory. The undercut could be very, very powerful. We believe everyone's going to stop on lap 26 or 7. So I will probably, as it stands, stop on 25, but it does depend on tyre wear, which is high. At present, we're going to be looking at nearly puncture territory on the front left and rear left as we approach the first pit stop, if we go as far as lap 27. Crucially, it's Kevin here in the Haas as well, not Carlos Sainz. So Kevin will not be as good as Carlos at making moves, at being aggressive, at defending. Actually, being aggressive is certainly something that Kevin Magnussen will be able to do. But he won't be as good offensively. He won't be as good defensively. Is he going to go defensive? He is, but late. But we'll make the move and we'll get it done. And Charles Leclerc looks like he's going to get the move done for the lead of the race as well. I've got Kevin Magnussen on the inside just as Norris has Leclerc on his inside, but we are through on K-Mag. But Lando still holds on to the lead. Charles is trying against the McLaren, but failing against the McLaren. But we're now very much in that hunt for P1 now. Just as we were in the sprint, we're going to try and make it 2 Grand Prix wins in a row and 3 race victories in total with that sprint already in the bag. Got a run on Charles. And in turn, he's got a run on Lando. He's going left. I'll try and follow him, actually. Oh, Lando nearly understeered into him. This time, Charles, I don't think he's going to get the move done either. Lando's going to have the inside line for turn 3, and he's going to get the move held, position held. Kevin's still right behind me, though. This is going to be super tight for a long time. I've gone deep there as I was a bit apprehensive on the brakes. But we've been able to hold it around the outside. Lando and Charles fighting hard for the win. Kevin Magnussen getting very feisty for a podium spot. I want to be involved in what's happening in front of me, not what's happening behind me. It's just going to be non-stop again, isn't it? Only this time for 57 laps rather than 19. We're on lap 8 already, flying through this Grand Prix right now. We've got a better run on Charles Leclerc this lap. This time I'm going to go left if I can. Oh, I had to brake then. As I went to go left, so did Charles. Lando goes deep again, but he's going to hold the position. I need to be careful not to run into my teammate here. This is the same move every lap from those two. I get a run on Charles here, maybe. No, he's just going to pull away. This time I'm going to be ready on the brakes and not go slightly deep and let Kevin have a sniff. Ooh, he's slow around there though, Lando and Charles. Have to be careful there not to run into the back of my teammate. It's feisty. You can see the length of the train from P1 to P10 still. It's anyone's game. He's gone defensive into the final turn, which is going to compromise him onto the straight. Charles has screwed himself there. That's going to be a comfortable P2 for us. Why he's gone defensive into the final turn, I've no idea. I can't get clear of him though. I'm going to try and box him in. Lando's gone defensive, but I'm going to take the lead here. Charles inexplicably went defensive into the final turn, which just compromised him all the way down the straight. That's P1. But as was the case in the sprint race, I don't think I've got the pace to get away and break DRS to be able to comfortably hold it. Yeah, we'll definitely use the ERS for at least a second a lap without any question or shadow of doubt. I don't know as I'm going to be able to get away here. Pretty sure we're not. We stand a better chance of being able to do it against Lando than we did against Kevin, against Carlos or Fernando Alonso in the sprint race. But as you can see, Lando's still very much in the hunt for this P1, and we're not going to be anywhere near as easily shaking him off as we'd like to. I'll use loads of battery down the straight, but I think with his battery and DRS, he should comfortably take the lead again, even though we've got 3.5 tenths in the pocket as we start the run down the straight. Oh, I'll tell you what though, we might keep this. We are going to keep this. Good to know. Provided we have battery, we can maintain the lead with a 3.5 tenth advantage. Good information to have. Right then, let's maintain that gap for the whole stint if we can. Gap's about the same this lap. 3.5 last lap, 3.8 this lap, or 0.35 and 0.38 this lap. Yep, as long as we've got the battery, we can hold on to P1 down the straight. Okay. Now then, it's a case of, as was in the sprint, making as little mistakes as possible to try and hold on to this. And you'll notice, actually, the gap behind Lando to Charles Leclerc is growing. I think Kevin might have made an attempt, or at least they're starting to get a bit feisty back there. So myself and Lando might be able to get away a little bit and break the train apart. It's going to be tough, but judging by the pace at the moment, it might be doable from just myself and him. Lando and I have broken the DRS gap to Charles Leclerc. Now, obviously, Charles will be without DRS, so he's going to be particularly vulnerable and will lose a position or two to Lance and Kevin here. And they'll dramatically close on myself and Lando, but I think we should be comfortable enough here as they begin to fight, to maintain the gap and maybe even see it grow a bit. The 10-horse race has just become 2. Myself and Lando with the pace to get away and maintain that gap. And now it's the 2 Brits going for gold in Qatar. I had a poor exit there. Lando's going to get me. Or will he? And he's going to try to use more battery. Lando Norris is going to take the lead of the Grand Prix back again. It's fine. So long as we keep the gap behind and it's just a 2-horse race, then I'm confident enough that I can stick with Lando, just like we did Lance Stroll, and hopefully execute a similar game plan for the victory here. Any safety cars or VSC will throw spanners in the works. Charles Leclerc is down to P4 now as Lance Stroll has taken... Ooh, Lando was slow off that corner. As Lance Stroll has now taken P3 off my teammate. But obviously with them being over a second behind, he's constantly going to be vulnerable to the driver behind him. Hopefully, Charles can maintain that half-second gap so that he can stand a chance of getting it back again. But I'm more concerned at the minute with sticking with Lando than I am worrying about what's happening behind. But as time goes on, I'm going to be more worried about, or more concerned about maintaining the gap behind than I am sticking with Lando. Because I feel like with the undercut, we can get Lando anyway, and he's not going to have DRS. We just need to make sure that those behind also don't have DRS, and then we can maintain this battle as just 2 for the lead. Almost feel like maybe I shouldn't battle with Lando too much to ensure that it is just still the 2 of us that are going for it. Probably shouldn't have taken the opportunity to overtake there. And Charles has actually lost another position now. I was hoping he was going to try and take Lance. He hasn't. He's fallen down to P5 behind Carlos Sainz. Stroll and Sainz were the 2 to beat in the sprint race. And they're showing that they've got excellent pace once again. Here in the full Grand Prix, and the gap between Lando and Lance is borderline DRS range again. I might have made a mistake in going into first place at the beginning of this lap, because he might have brought them lot behind back into the fight again. We've just maintained Lando's DRS gap to Lance Stroll. So we'll pull on him once more, and now we need to extend that gap continually, because I don't think Lance and Carlos are going to battle too hard. I think they understand that they need to gap those behind them as well. And Lance is probably going to have... Well, Lance and Carlos definitely have the pace on Charles. You can see that Charles is already half a second behind Carlos Sainz again now. So the Ferrari, not that good for Charles Leclerc here. It's definitely better for me than it is for my teammate, which is rare. But Lando is really, really gunning for it now. And he's making a move, or trying to make a move, a really unorthodox part of the circuit. He's clattered into me there. We bang wheels. I've had to go wide. And, well, Lance Stroll is now within DRS range. The 10-man train is reconnected, recoupled. Lando Norris made sure of that. He also made sure that he took first place. Very, very aggressive from Lando. Certainly made some similar moves myself in recent Grand Prix. And there was no way that Lando wasn't taking first place back again there, was there? He basically bumped me out of the way. This might be one of those more obvious than not opportunities to take the lead again. Certainly is. Because of the extra weight in the car from the extra fuel, not actually noticing a sharper drop-off in grip as we did in the sprint race. When the car is lighter, it's obviously more up on its toes, so to speak, so the grip from the tyre is less obvious when they become worn, because you're kind of skimming across the surface as opposed to being kind of sunken down into the rubber, if you know what I mean. So after 21 laps here, these medium tyres, despite being more worn than they were in the sprint, actually feel grippier than they did in the sprint. That said, I've gone very wide there. So I'm still going to box on 25, I think, rather than 27. But I feel more comfortable now than I did in the Sprint Grand Prix 5 or 6 laps ago, if you know what I mean. So I'm very happy with how the car is at the moment, and hopefully we can maintain that for the rest of the race. Still anyone's Grand Prix at this stage. One Mercedes has fallen off the back of the train, so it's now a 9 horse or a 1 engine and 8 carriage train. Lando might have a go here. He's going to think about it. Lance is probably going to get boxed in. No, he's going to go aggressive, and Lance might make it through as well here. We'll try and hang on to hold on to P2, which we can do, but Lando takes the lead again. It's anyone's race, it really is. Oh, poor exit. Wheel spin coming around the final turn. Thankfully we're going to be safe to Lance because we've got the DRS as well as the battery. I'm not going to go for Lando here though. He's gone a bit defensive. I've backed off a little just to try and make sure that we just get down the road as fast as possible rather than making us both vulnerable to those behind. It's McLaren, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Haas in the top 5. Max Verstappen currently running P6, I think, and Charles Leclerc has dropped even further back. Started second, challenged for the lead, didn't get it, and is now falling down the order. Fernando's managed to get himself back up to 14th from dead last, so he's clearly still got the pace, and he could well score points today, but nowhere near enough to win the championship. The pit lane has moved in Qatar now. It used to be on the entrance on the inside of this final turn. It's now obviously on the main straight. Now I'm not anticipating anyone else boxing with me at this stage. I think everyone else will box either 26 or 27 for a medium hard 1 stop. Oh, and crucially this time, it is a clean pit stop from the pit crew. I'm hoping then that we should be able to get ourselves back out into the lead after the round of pit stops. But I can't afford to lose too much time behind the group in front here. There's a bit of a gap, so I should be able to at least run at full race speed for this lap. And then hopefully they'll box at the end of this one or the next one. But maximising my pace on the fresh tyre now is going to be the most important thing, to try and undercut Lando Norris. And if possible, undercut him and create a DRS-sized gap. I'd love to lead the race by over a second by the time everyone else has made their pit stops. That way, I'd say we are almost certainly going to win this race. But without that DRS gap, the train continues. And no one from that front group is in on this lap. They are going one more. I need to make some moves here. I can't afford to stick behind them for too long. Gasly and Ricciardo go defensive. Tsunoda does the same. I couldn't take 3 in the one corner, could I? Extra pace and grip. We took 2. I just need to get past Tsunoda sooner rather than later, and our progress will be minimally affected. Did have to ease off the throttle on the way around that left-hander, and similarly around the right. I'll try and get him. Christ, he was a lot slower around there than I thought. I was going to say I'll try and get him into the hairpin if I can, but I had to go so offline there that I wasn't really in a position to be able to challenge. This is maybe going to cost me the opportunity to lead the race after the pit stops. I need to get past Yuki, and I need to do it as soon as I can, really. And here might be the opportunity. I'm going to go for it. We're going to get it done. Sorry, Yuki, I just need to get past, pal.
Brilliant. Nice move.
And Lando is in this lap.
Okay, gap to the
Here
car
we find
ahead.
out, did we lose too much time behind Yuki Tsunoda? Or are we going to be able to come out in the lead here? Use all my battery down the straight and hope that we can get there.
Next car.
They're coming out the box there. We are going to be leading the race, but I do not have the 1 second advantage I was hoping for. Maybe with my warm tyres now and then coming out the box on cold tyres, I could open up a gap, but no.
Just come in for the hard tyres.
We haven't been able to do it. So the train continues. Myself and Lando are the... probably, actually, by the end of the round of pit stops now, that the Haas has come out behind there. Daniel Ricciardo. It's going to be a 2-horse race again for the lead. And at this stage, there's enough of a gap behind that it's probably going to be a 2-horse race now for definitely the rest of the race, unless there is a VSC or safety car. We only have a fresh set of soft tyres to go to. We have a set of used mediums that will be only slightly used, unless they're the medium tyres that we used in the sprint race or earlier in this race. I don't know what set of medium tyres that would be. I fear it's probably one that we've already used in a race scenario, but because it doesn't tell you how worn those tyres are, you don't know what decision to make. It's one of the few things that I think should be changed about the game, is that you should have all of the information available to you as to how many laps that set of tyres have run. How worn is that set of mediums? You should have that information, but you don't. Lando's going for it. There's Lance Stroll. So it's as you were then. It's actually a 3-horse race now, because Lance has been able to
Okay, mate. Right, we've got a full
come out
battery, which means
right with myself and Lando.
Making
I mean, I'm glad that I'm quicker than him. Means that if we are in a position to challenge for the World Championship next season, that I can genuinely have a go at winning the title myself, rather than just being the Sergio Perez or Valtteri Bottas to the Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamiltons of this world, and just quite simply keeping the points tally ticking over whilst they disappear into the distance to win all the races. Lando sets the fastest lap of the race. I'm going to go for the lead again. Hopefully, I'll hold on to it now for the rest of the race. 28 laps to go. Just going to let it happen earlier than the apex of the corner so that we lose as little time as possible to those behind. Lance is still hanging on. Max and Kevin Magnussen are battling for P4. Max only needs 2 points to win the World Championship. And let's be honest, with Fernando Alonso where he is, Max doesn't need any points to win the World Championship. He could retire and still win the championship by quite the margin, with Fernando making his mistake. Is he back in the points, Alonso? No, he's down in 12th at the moment. And I don't think he's going to be getting any points today by the looks of things. Lando's going to get me again. Fastest lap of the race, even though I made a mistake on the exit of the final corner. Lando's going to take me again. That's fine. It's another case of just let it happen, lose as little time as possible, and then with probably about 7 or 8 laps to go, that's when the real fight begins. When once we've worked together as a team, we'll very much become individuals again and go hell for leather to try and get the win for ourselves. At this point, I'd be very comfortable in that we could probably do the same thing here that we did in the sprint and just take the lead on the final lap and then hold it for that final lap and win the race. But as the tyres get a lot more worn, already 11% on the front left, as this set of tyres have now done 10 laps, and there's still another 23 to go, or 22 to go, and now I'm down to 3rd. So it's not going to be that simple, I don't think. We've got a nice, comfortable 5-second gap to the group behind, though. So I'm happy enough with that. The others are starting to show
The McLaren drivers just moved
some
into
flaws
first place.
and slow time in the corners. I think they're saving fuel or tyres. And I'm not doing either, which is why I'm just rammed right up behind them at times when they're in front of me. But they're fast enough in the other parts of the circuit that I can't pull away and get out of that DRS range. What would be great would be to be in first and then have Lando and Lance battle it out behind me and me to gap them a little bit. But we're not going to get that lucky, because so long as anyone has DRS on me when I'm in the lead, they're going to be able to defend to the car behind them, and they're going to be able to attack me too. There's a slight development in that Max Verstappen has broken the gap to those behind. So Verstappen... Oh, Lando! Jesus Christ! My pants are brown. Max Verstappen has pulled away from Kevin Magnussen, and if we continue to fight now as a trio, Max will make it a quartet before the end of the race.
The race so far.
Try around the outside of both of them. It's not going to work. Not even going to get one of them. Fair enough. I was so worried about losing part of my front wing there, I didn't really go super aggressive on Lance Stroll. Because we've got DRS though, to be fair, we are actually holding that gap to Max at the minute. Because Lando just set the fastest lap of the race of a 23.5. Our fastest is a 23.9. So Lando Norris has some really good pace in that. My last lap was a 24 something. So Lando is genuinely the fastest driver on circuit right now. And given the opportunity, he will dance off and disappear. Whilst I'm in third, I'm significantly less confident of being able to get the win. I do want to make sure I'm in at least second with 5 laps to go to try and manipulate the scenario in which we can win the race. So I would like to try and take Lance, if I can, before lap 50. Doing so is going to be difficult. He says, as he gets a really good run on him, I'm going to go right. Lance has gone further right. Lance has now gone left. That's P1. Double overtake into the first turn. Lance probably came very close to losing the car there, so sharply did he move to the left-hand side. Oh! He did, in fact. You can see, watch his DRS. He went to go right. I'm right. And then he changed his mind as I came up on him. I went to go further right. So it's like, right, okay, well, I'll go left then, turn his DRS off, whether that was manually with a button press or by a dab of the brakes, then turn his DRS on again, slipped back into the slipstream, and then went to go around the outside but just didn't time it right. Found himself losing the position and not gaining on Lando as he thought he would. We will hold P1 then. And I'm much happier to be here than I am in third place. For obvious reasons. As we cross the line, 10 laps to go. Fastest lap of the race from me, 123.229. A few laps ago, Lando took it right behind me, and then Lance took it immediately right behind him as well. We're not only changing positions, but changing fastest lap holder as well in this Grand Prix. Gap to Max now very nearly 10 seconds. So if there's a VSC, I'd be sorely tempted to stop for a set of softs. Only if it's a VSC though. There's a full safety, to be fair, if there's a full safety car, I might stop for softs as well, to be fair. But at present, these tyres are going to comfortably get us to the end. It's just a case of whether they comfortably get us to a victory or not. It's been remarkable, the close racing and intensity of it here in both the sprint and the main Grand Prix. Not something we've encountered for a long time, especially when it comes to race victories. It's not something we've encountered ever, really. We had a few races when we were at Haas and he was at Ferrari when we were very close with Carlos Sainz. And in the early stages of this season, we had the same when I was in a Ferrari and he was in a Haas. Then Carlos Sainz went through a spell of just winning races or being on the podium when I wasn't near. He's now involved in that group back behind George Russell. Carlos Sainz along with his teammate. My teammate is in there as well in P8, I think, at the minute. Behind the two Hasses. Sainz now P5 ahead of Russell down the straight. There's not long left to go. This race has just gone by so quickly. What front wing damage?
Please protect the front wing. Come on.
I don't have any front wing damage. What are you talking about? That's crazy. Well, that'll be an easy objective complete then, because I've not damaged my wing at all, and I'm not going to damage my wing between now and the end. 8 laps plus whatever we've got left of this one to the checkered flag. Oh God, that was terrible. All right, bye Lando. Horrible final corner. It's going to pump me back down to third.
Stay with them. They might make a mistake and we could still regain the position.
Exactly what I needed with 7 laps to go. I did that in qualifying as well on a banker lap. Something to be aware of. Tyres only 28 and 25% on the left compared to where they were in the medium stint, which was the mid-40s really. I have to get this move done sooner rather than later, because as you can see on the mini-map, we are catching a Williams. That is going to be the move done. Another double overtake, P1 again. What we didn't need to happen, or couldn't afford to happen, was for whoever was in first to get DRS on this Williams, which I presume is Théo Pourchaire, and to help them defend for an extra lap down the straight, because that really would have been diabolically poor for our attempts to try and win the race. As it happens, I might now be the one. No, we're not going to be behind him long enough to get DRS at the end of the lap, but it's now Stroll in P2, not Lando, and I wonder whether Stroll is a driver I could extend a gap of a second on, as opposed to Lando Norris, who I tried time and time again and couldn't. Oh, Théo, if you could have just maybe hung on until after this section of corners, that would have been lovely. Because I would have got DRS off the back of you after this turn if you had done so. As it happens though, it has helped open up a 6.5 gap to Lance, which I'll now try and maintain down the straight, although it's now 5.5. Well, the lead is another fastest lap, 22.8. The lead is still intact. Gap to Lando behind Lance is now actually 0.6 or so. So Lando's falling back a little bit. I imagine he'll close back up before the end, but there are 4 laps to go, 54, 5, 6 and 7. And we're back in the right spot we need to be to get this dub. Lance has been really strong in the Aston Martin. Since it became a particularly good car, he's been very, very, very strong in it. Not as good as Alonso, but still very good. Alonso and Sainz have kind of run away with races the past few, till Las Vegas. Although, to be fair, we were 10 seconds behind Carlos Sainz till his car went pop. And Fernando was the only one that was close to us behind. Lance is going to take the lead now. But Lando's not even close at the minute to making it a double change, which is handy, because we've been here before this weekend in the sprint race, right behind Lance Stroll with DRS on him. And we will hold station until lap 57. And then, on the last lap, we'll look to take the lead again, just like we did in the sprint race. Lando Norris is an extra spanner in the works here, but my DRS to Lance should help me defend to Lando.
We've got a lot of
I hope.
energy. Okay to use your overtake button.
Provided I can drive well enough, that is. 2.5 laps to go. Still could be anyone's race of the three of us. Lance currently leading the way. Lando P3. Myself in the sandwich. Lando and Lance, all the L's. Hopefully I don't take an L in trying to get this race victory. Be sorely tempted to make the overtake now, to be honest, because we're very close to Lance here. I mean, there's no way we don't make the overtake now, let's be honest. We'll get it done, and then we'll just try and hold on to it for 2 laps. 56 and 57. Excuse me, Lance. Bye, mate. No mistakes now. Good exit in the final corner as we start the final lap. I said to the flag, to the flag. Looks like we're going to do it. Lance is coming. I'm having to continually use my battery all the way down the straight. But we've held Lance behind, and we've only conceded a position once all Grand Prix that hasn't been down the main straight. That was Lando when he unceremoniously bumped me out of the way earlier in the Grand Prix to take the lead. The other 2 behind are really on it though. The gap to Lance was as low as 184 milliseconds in that run a moment ago, but I'm going to use my battery to make sure I hold the lead. So it's going to be back-to-back Grand Prix victories for us in the Ferrari. 3 straight races with the sprint in the middle as well. And just cementing our decision, really, that we are going to stay at Ferrari for next season. Abu Dhabi, I don't anticipate going as strongly as this one. It's not a circuit that I'm as good at. And it's a circuit that I anticipate the AI being better than me at. Although I thought that about here, and we've somehow managed to come away with a sprint and Grand Prix victory. Unfortunately, Charles Leclerc is not anywhere to be seen with regards to battle for the front, but we should overtake Aston Martin in the Constructors here with that win, and Charles picking up some points as well. Lance gets a very good P2, Lando P3 as well, 2 Brits. 3 wins in a row! Thank you for acknowledging it, Mark. So we should, driver of the day in the sprint, driver of the day in the main Grand Prix. Getting boring, isn't it, all this winning? Never going to sell tickets for Silverstone at this rate. Max Verstappen wins the Drivers' Championship. It could have been very, very different if Fernando Alonso didn't bottle it earlier in the race, because Fernando would have been faster than all 3 of us that ended up on the podium. Max wins 5 straight championships, but dare I say, I really don't think he's going to make it 6, because we'll be up there, the Haas will be up there, Alonso and Stroll will be up there. But it's another victor for us.
Does for a driver's confidence.
It does a lot for confidence.
Going forward in the
a hell of a lot for confidence. I won't bother with grabbing the trophy this time around. It was all right as a one-off, but every time you don't want to see me stand up and walk across the office and go, look, I got a trophy, way! Maybe I should keep it. If we start winning races all the time, I should keep it off there and I should keep it on the desk. Then maybe I can lift the trophy every time. Forza Ferrari. P1 again, this time Lance and Lando alongside me, as opposed to my teammate and Alonso that was on the podium with me in Las Vegas. I had to think for a minute there. Shaky bottle time once more, celebrating for the 3rd straight victory, although no podium celebration for the
well, what an end to another
podium celebration for the sprint, and fastest lap point as well, which will very much help for the Constructors. 34 points for me, 9 points for Charles Leclerc, and as we go to the standings, P2 in the Constructors by 6 points heading into the final round of the World Championship. We have to hold on to it, and crucially as well, P6 in the Drivers' Championship too. I am level with George Russell. We are 28 points clear of Sergio Perez, so we will finish at least 7th in the drivers. I'd like to think we'll finish ahead of George Russell in Abu Dhabi as well, but we're 19 points behind Carlos Sainz, so I don't anticipate us being able to overtake him in the Drivers' Championship, but we were P10 for a long time this season, so to be P6 is phenomenal. Loads of experience for winning the rivalry against Lewis Hamilton as well. We are now drawing the rivalry with Yuki Tsunoda with the rating as well, because all of that XP will shoot us up to 83 rated. We're flying, and we're going to be challenging, hopefully, for a championship next season. Still, my recognition is only 37%, so I can't add more than one upgrade on the car at any given time. But look at that. Oh no, all three of those were already at level 3, weren't they? It's the other specialist that's level 2 that I still haven't been able to get to level 3. But as we head into the final round of the championship, Max has won it. We still have something very much to fight for in the drivers and in the constructors, so it's going to be worth your while watching. I mean, I don't anticipate us getting another victory, but we'll do what we can to get something done over the line. Can we upgrade the car at all anywhere? I don't know, as we're going to have enough resource points to pay for anything. 466 is not going to be enough, but after a practice session in Abu Dhabi, we certainly will be able to afford to do either the front downforce or the rear. And at the minute, I'm definitely leaning towards rear because I had to add some rear downforce in to make the car more stable in that last round of the championship. So we will upgrade the rear downforce during the course of the Abu Dhabi race weekend so that will be ready for the new season. But what the hierarchy of teams looks like in the new season, we've absolutely no idea whatsoever. All we do know is we should be very competitive. We're very competitive right now, challenging for victories and, well, getting them at this stage as well. So as we head into the final round of the championship, back-to-back Grand Prix wins, 3 wins in a row. But will we make it 4? Unlikely. Will we catch Carlos Sainz? Unlikely. But certainly, there's everything to play for in the constructors. So we have to make sure that we finish ahead of Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll, which is not going to be easily done. But it is possible. We will go to the Abu Dhabi race weekend. I might actually take a harder tyre allocation to Abu Dhabi for that next weekend to have an extra set of hard tyres available. I'm going to do that because Abu Dhabi can be a bit of a tyre killer and the softs don't last very long there at all. So we'll head to Abu Dhabi with the harder tyre allocation that hopefully will pay dividends for us throughout the course of the weekend. Fully dry as expected. Actually quite overcast for qualifying. Day into night, of course, for the race itself. Qualifying itself will be under the lights. Join me then in the season finale next time out. Charles can't catch Fernando, unfortunately, so he will definitely finish P3. But we need to finish ahead of Fernando and Lance for the constructors. So there's a lot to play for still. Make sure you don't miss it. Drop the video a like if you've enjoyed. I think another win deserves it. Subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss out on any more. Season finale to come and season 3 round the corner. I'll see you next time.